eno ye Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
In respect to whether there are any treason charges awaiting Chagulanyi, I have earlier communicated.
You are watching Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all the updates.
To mainly concentrate on the issues of security that caused a lot of public debate. You recall that some sections of society came out and raised an alarm that there are concerns over security, and particularly in areas of Kampala, the greater Kampala metropolitan. What I would like to give you as an assurance is that Uganda Police Force and other security agencies take these public concerns very seriously. And I would like to give you feedback today. That between 16th of this month, which was Monday, and yesterday, security agencies conducted intensive intelligence-led operations across the country. A total of 1,095. Although even the figure might be bigger because some operations were done as good as last night, were arrested in Kampala metropolitan area and upcountry regions for burglary, robbery, narcotics, street mugging, and related crimes. The operations targeted known, or what we would call suspected black spots, hideouts, and narcotic hubs, with the recoveries of weapons, stolen items, and other exhibits. Of course, besides those operations, we also had some other, like fire and rescue services, where we also saved a juvenile who had fallen into a pit latrine in Masindi. But showing the wider public safety role we are playing beyond enforcement. Notable achievements we made. In the Kampala metropolitan area, we made an arrest of over 700 suspects. There were major crackdowns in Chira. The details are so many, we can't share them all, but I'm giving you excerpts. In Chira, in Mukono, in Chanja, Eyogedde, in Nsanji, we did operations. In Katwe, it was massive, as well as Entebbe. We had operations in Entebbe, for instance, where we arrested 20 suspects, and during the screening, we identified 4 and found that they had committed aggravated robbery. So we have been screening some of these suspects. In Gulu, we made an operation, and in the process, we managed to harvest criminals who had over 30 SIM cards. I'm just giving you just the tips here and there. In Nakawa, and particularly along the Lugogo bypass and those traffic lights, you recall there were people who were raising alarms over people who target motorists. We again carried out operations and I think made 4 arrests in that area. We even managed to come across motor vehicle parts, particularly side mirrors. And we are requesting, I've talked to our operation commanders, some side mirrors at times you find have embroiderings, have writings of the number plates. How I wish I could get that record so that I share it with you, and the members come and collect their parts. But in that process of interaction, probably we can even get more insights into how these particular offenses could have been committed. I will share with you this chart, but let me read it for those of you who would wish to consume. In Kampala Metropolitan East alone, we arrested 224 suspects. Kampala Metropolitan South, whose headquarters sits at Katwe, takes those areas of Entebbe, CPS, Katwe, Kajansi, 510 were got. For Kampala Metropolitan North, you recall that operation which was triggered by a video which circulated on social media, where some hours we shall limit ourselves to one, engaging them. We do engagement, proactive policing. We do preventive measures. We try our level best to harvest them out of society and take them for correctional services. As to whether they are corrected and become well-aligned citizens, of course, it's a bit of a tall discussion. But what you need to know is that there is no society at the moment that has fought crime entirely to zero levels. What societies have managed to do so far is to control it. Because people will conflict, people will fight, their emotions, so you may not, not even as a state, can you control and make sure you reduce crime to zero levels. So like I've said, the conversation would be too long, but I'm just giving you that hint. Similarly, we profile suspects, but profiling them does not mean or does not prevent them from recommission of offenses. Profiling helps us to particularly disaggregate and establish those particular offenders who are repeating the offenses in our communities. And somehow it influences their penalties, because we give this information to courts of law. But even after they have been punished, some of these punishments are not perpetual. If somebody is going to serve 10 years, certainly the 10 years will end at some point. And he can come back, and in the 11th year he commits an offense. So just know that that's the point. And I think that one answers also my sister, the why question. There are several. I think as media houses, you may have to get time and invite a number of government offices to do some explanation. The Ministry of Gender has a very good explanation. That's why you are seeing the government programs of trying to bring everybody into the cash economy, because we have a belief that if everybody was working and busy in this cash economy, probably you would have a reduction in crime. But even in a working environment, there are crimes. Because in working environments, there is corruption. So it's an offense. For you to be corrupt, you must be working. In working environments, there are feuds. So the story is long. Let me go to the second issue. To the next issue. That is there any connection of these crimes to the elections? There is nobody who has done a scientific study to that effect. And if you had anything to that effect, it would be speculation. Because the offenders we are arresting, some of them, like we have discussed here, are repeat offenders. In other words, they have committed some offenses even before elections. So for you to claim that naye nga security ebitongole ebikuuma ddembe netubagamba nti tetutudde era netusalawo nti tujja kuba tubawa updates ku bikwekweto bye tukola kubanga tetuyinza kukkiriza obumenyi bw'amateeka okugezaako okutuyinza. Era twakola ebikwekweto okuvanga 16 paka jo ate bino ebikwekweto bikyagenda maaso. Tujja kusigala nga tubikola nga tutagetinga abamenyi b'amateeka mu bufoofo mwe babeekwese, mu bufo mwe bagenda ne baleesa enjayi, nabo abatunda enjayi. So twakola ebikwekweto mu wiiki eno ne tukwata ba suspects 195 naye n'omusobyo kubanga waliwo n'endala statistics zenyiza okubanga saakapitalinze nga mu Kampala Metropolitan East. Kampala Metropolitan East ekitebe kyayo kiri ku Jinja Road, yetwala ebifo byonge bya Mukono, zi Nagalama, yetwala Jinja Road area gye mulaba ebifo bingi. Tuyina Kampala Metropolitan South ekitebe ekituula Katwe nga yetwala ekibuga ky'omu Makati mu luzungu kye tuyita Central Business District, yetwala Katwe, yetwala Entebbe, yetwala Natete, bifo bingi. So mu Kampala Metropolitan East ne South alone twasobola okwata abantu abataka wansi wa 7 betutebereza mu bumenyi bw'amateeka mu operations zetukoze mu week. Entebbe, just Entebbe yokka bwe twakwatayo abantu 20 mu kikwekweto, twasobola okusanga nti 4 bali bayina akakwate ku bumenyi bw'amateeka obusukkiriddemuuko mu luzungu kye twaliise aggravated robbery. Mu Elegu ne Gulu twakwatayo 39 naye nga waliwo we twasanga ne sim cards 30. Mukimanyi bulungi nti sim cards zino batera nnyo okuzikozesa mu bumenyi bw'amateeka. Mu Savannah region mu Luweero ne Nakaseke eyo twakwatayo abamenyi b'amateeka bangi nga mwe muli n'ababbi b'ente naye nga in total twakwatayo 132. Waliwo abazeebe mulugumya ku Nakawa ne Lugogo area ku Bitaala, awo twakwatawo 4 ate bwe twabakwata twabasanga ne parts oba ebitundu by'emmotoka, especially side mirrors. Era nadde nsabye ba colleagues bange mu operations nti bwe wabaawo side mirrors eziyina number plates nga baziwandiiseeko, kibana kirungi ne tufuna enamba ezo ne tuziwa abantu so that we get in touch n'abantu abo. Osanga bayinza n'otuwa information endala ku ngeri abaziba emisango bino ngeri gye babadde babikolamu. So nga mbaddiramuko ku statistics entonotono, Kampala Metropolitan East yakwata abantu 224. Kampala Metropolitan South nekwata 510. North mujjukira yo tuyina operation eyo gye twakola we waliwo akatambi akayita nga abasajja bayina jambia ekisenyi nga banyaga n'omuntu ensawo ye mulimu n'abantu abalabika mu katambi ako nga balabika bakosebwa. Eyo operation twagikola ne tukwatayo basatu, ne tukwatayo ne piki 3 era najja I think yesterday ne tubawa brief eyo. Mu Aswa West twakwatayo 184 kwegamba tuze tukola ebikwekweto bingi mu regions nyingi ez'eggwanga nga bwe tujja okubiteeka ku mitimbagano zaffe. Naye twagala okutegeeza nti ebikwekweto bino byonna bye tubadde tukola tubadde tuyambibwako abantu ba bulijjo nga batuwa intelligence, era ffe nga poliisi tubadde also tuyambibwako ebitongole ebirala ebikuuma ddembe. So kikulaga nti bwe tukoleganira wamu ekintu kya security kiba kyangu ky'okukola ki ekyokuziyiza. Then twali omanyi kubanga wali oli agamba naye abantu be mwabakwata baza misango, waliwo be twakwata nga tebanaba nakuzza, naye jjukira bino ebikwekweto tubiyita intelligence led operations. Tusooka kukola intelligence then ne tugenda ne tubanganga. I think that's the right terminology. So waliwo abamu betugenda ne tubasanga mu bufo bebekweseemu, naye ojja kusanga nti mu bifo bino byonna tubadde tubasanga either n'ebisi oba n'enjaga. Ate twagala n'okutegeeza public ti zino operations zijja kusigala nga zigenda mu maaso. Waliwo olumu bwe mujja okusanga nga yes toyina musango naye nga security ekuyimiriza ekubuuza, tukiteeka joji ow'ebibuuzo, please give security attention. Baddemu kubanga mu security operations zaffe zino tutera nnyo okufuna challenges especially ne baganda baffe bano abaasoma. Wabeeramu olusu bateekamu oluzungu lungi, tukubuuza just issues ezeetaaga okutegeera ani gwe ani olagawa oli wa mu kitundu ekyo, naye n'osanga nga omuntu ayagala okuteekawo embeera etali nnungi. Olina okujjukira nti mu mbeera eyo omupoliisi akkirizibwa okukukwata. Yesu weewaawo ojja kuba amasimu wano nawali, naye ogenda okugakubira ojja kuba mukwate. So twagala okubategeeza nja kusembyayo era ekikwatagana n'ebikwekweto, naye nga kino kyanjawulo nti mu Soroti mu kitundu kye bayita Olwaddayi mu East Division twakuteyo omukyala ne tumusanga ne passports 261. Twamusanze ne certificates of good conduct. Ezo certificates ze tutera okuwanga poliisi eziraga nti toyina kakwase n'omusango gwonna. Then ne tumusanga ne yellow fever cards. Yellow fever cards zino batera ziwa abantu okulaga nti bafuna okugemebwa ku virus ya yellow fever. Ate zitera nnyo okwetaagibwa bw'oba nga ogenda kutambula especially mu mawanga agamu. So ekikwekweto kikyagenda maaso okukwata n'abalala bonna abenyigidde mu bino ebintu. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. We shall begin with the question in respect to whether there are any treason charges awaiting Kyagulanyi. I have earlier communicated and also given you the modus or the approach, my approach to communication. I will only communicate what I've been given. As we speak today, there are no treason charges labeled against Kyagulanyi, but if they were to be there, it would be at this very forum that I would come and announce, just like the way I've been doing it before. So at the moment, I do not have any extra brief or any brief about specific charges against him. I think I've answered you in respect to that. Then, as to whether there is any other person of interest and in related charges, in the first place, there are no charges of that nature at the moment, because if we had charged him, we would call him to police, invite him or arrest him, and then have him give his side of the story. So at the moment, none. If it was to happen, fine, I would come here in broad daylight and deliver the message.
Is he under investigation?
There is no I don't know any single police officer who has been designated to do that investigation. But if he was to be there and I get to know, I would not keep it to myself. We go to the second issue, that about crime. You asked about why are they reappearance? Why does somebody get arrested today, gets into prison, then the next day you find him back and doing the same thing? There are several explanations to this. They need a very long discussion, and I don't want to turn this into a classroom, but I can just give you a few hints as somebody who has been in the law enforcement sector for at least some time, that persons commit crimes for several reasons. And by nature, you will always find a human being who goes against the normal. We take them to prison for recorrection. Yeah, those who will always come back.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba amannya agange Rusoke Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tumwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba, tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulombeddwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombeera edduwa, ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Naneetaase enamba yange yeno eri 0707363711. Namwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze, amaka gakolongotana, sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo, ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amanyago, ebyo byokka bijja kummala, nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.